Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today I'm here to talk to you about things you should stop doing if you are not a YouTuber, you're not a beauty blogger, you're not a makeup artist, you're in no way making an income from the makeup that you purchase or the beauty products that you purchase. I'm here to help you stop making mistakes because we see so much of these people. We see so much of beauty bloggers, YouTubers, Instagram artists, and we think all these things that we're doing are normal and we're kind of being encouraged to make these mistakes. But actually, if you're just a normal consumer, you don't have a profit to be made from products, they're not the smartest choices. So we just want to add a little disclaimer in here. I'm not your mum. I can't tell you what to do with your life. And by all means, feel free to continue doing all of these things if you're just happy with your choices and it makes you happy and there's nothing wrong with that. You're free to do what you want. You're a grown adult. I'm just here to give you some tips and get people to think about why they're doing things, and what might be influencing some of these behaviors is probably being around a lot of this beauty community, and you're watching and interacting with a lot of people who this is their profession and we're making a profit from the products that we buy. So for me, there should be a difference in the way that a professional or a makeup artist or a beauty blogger kind of goes about making purchases, how we decide to make purchases. Me being a YouTuber and having a channel, but also being like a regular consumer, I'm not a makeup artist, so I've kind of lived in both worlds, and I feel like there's lots of things that I see people saying and I have subscribers saying to me all the time, and I'm like, but why are you doing that for? Like, your lives could be way easier. You don't have to get involved in this stuff, you know? And I think we kind of get pushed into this competitive race when it comes to makeup, and we feel like we're swept up in it because everybody we see is doing these things because they are bloggers or because they are makeup artists or because they're on YouTube, that we think we need to do this and we're trying to keep up with people. And I see that comment a lot, like, I can't keep up, or how am I supposed to keep up with this, or how are we supposed to keep up with this? And I'm just like, why are you trying to keep up with this? Like, who are you trying to keep up with? Because you realize that there's a reason why those people are in a race or in a competition, and there's no reason that a regular consumer needs to like engage with this stress, you know? So the first thing that I would discourage you to do is buy new products that are permanent at launch, on launch day, the second they come out. Why are you doing that for? A case in point, although it's not a permanent product, but it is a product that is recently released and is widely available still, is this guy, the Hourglass Sculpture Palette. So although we don't think it's permanent, it's limited edition. Usually these palettes, it is something that people get into a bun fight over every year. And, you know, this has been out maybe a couple of weeks max, and already it's now appeared at Space NK and is part of their spend £60, get £15 off. So if you hadn't bought this at launch, a couple of weeks later, you can now get at least £15 off of this palette, or if you could pick it up and you've got points, even more. So there's an example of why, if something comes out and it's permanent, therefore there's no rush, there's no reason it's not going to sell out and be gone forever, it's not limited edition, in which case, you know, there is a slightly different reason why you might want to buy that instantly. If something is permanent, if you haven't run out of all the other blushes or all the other foundations and a permanent foundation comes out, why are you not waiting for that to be reduced? Why are you not waiting for a sale? Why are you not waiting for a discount? You know, what's the rush? Why do you have to have that product the day it comes out or the day after it comes out? Because there's no benefit to you to having it that day, you know? Just wait for a sale. That's what I'm saying. So the next thing that I would discourage you from doing, which kind of goes hand in hand with that first thing, and that is paying full price for permanent products. I don't think you should ever pay full price for permanent products. Limited edition, it's kind of different because if we don't know how long it's going to be around for, we desperately don't want to miss out on it. It's something that we really, really want to buy. You don't want to miss out, so I understand why we don't dilly-dally with limited edition. But if something is permanent, it's always going to end up being reduced, and you don't have to wait very long. There are sales very regularly or offers very regularly. You know, you can look on websites. There's lots of websites that do a pretty much permanent discount on most products. Feel unique, you can pick your brand for life and always get 10% off. I just don't think you should ever have to spend the full asking price on any makeup because there's just constantly offers and sales. Wait for one. For the same reason, there's very rarely any rush if you aren't trying to get a video up or trying to get a review up as soon as possible. There's no rush. Wait a few weeks, maybe a month. I'm sure you've got other foundations or eyeshadow palettes that you can use in the meantime. Never pay full price for permanent products. The thing that I touched on earlier, which is this keeping up, trying to keep up. But with who? I see this comment so often on whether it's on Trend Moods posts or my own from subscribers or followers, people saying, oh, who can keep up? I can't keep up. I just can't keep up with these prices. I can't keep up buying all this stuff. And I just think, who are you trying to keep up with? Are you trying to keep up with beauty gurus or makeup artists, people who are buying this stuff to actually help you not buy it? You know, the purpose of beauty bloggers, YouTubers like myself is to review stuff and buy stuff with our money so you can save yours. You don't need to try and keep up with us. You certainly shouldn't be expected or feel the need to have the same size collection as someone who's making a profit from theirs. That's the thing to remember when you watch YouTubers. We are making money from our channel, we're making money from our links, we're making money from our videos and therefore from our makeup. It's an investment that has a return. If you don't make money from the makeup you buy, then there's really no benefit to having a ginormous amount other than just the enjoyment of it, but it could also be really problematic. So again, don't feel pressured to keep up with people. It's like trying to keep up with a farmer having the same amount of sheep, but you don't have a farm, so really you shouldn't have any sheep at all. The next thing we should avoid doing if we aren't a YouTuber or a beauty guru or a makeup artist is buying foundations or concealers, base products without shade matching or sampling first. I don't know why anyone does this. Obviously these days swatching is no longer really allowed, but a lot of places will still give you samples. They'll just have to do it for you, put it in a pot or whatever and give you a sample, or they certainly can still shade match or certainly help you match your shade in store. For me, a lot of the time when I'm buying a foundation online, it's because I have to get it here the next day so I can get my review up and I just need to make the best guess I can. It's also not a huge issue for me if I order a shade and it's not right, because as long as it's kind of vaguely in the right ballpark, my review can still go up and it doesn't really affect the review, and I can say, okay, this isn't a great shade for me, but I can still tell you how I feel about the foundation. We can still see how it performs and all that kind of stuff. It's just less useful if you're a shade twin, and that's a little annoying, but at the same time it does offer you that this isn't our shade. If you thought it was, it's not the correct shade if you're a shade twin. So in that way it still kind of is helpful. Whereas if you buy a foundation online, especially in the UK, and you haven't shade matched, you've just guessed your shade online as best you can, which is a nightmare for most people, and it doesn't match you, it's money down the drain. You can't return it. You could try and sell it online. eBay tries to stop you selling used makeup online. You could give it to a friend. You could try and resell it somewhere somehow, but ultimately you aren't going to get your full money back for that product. It's money down the drain. When you could have, most people could have waited for an opportunity to go into a store and test that makeup. Yes, not every brand is available in store here in the UK, so I get that to a degree, but at the same time, I feel like any opportunity, if you ever can get into a store, get shade matched, or even do shade matching online, or email customer services, ask them to shade match you. Most brands offer that online. Then do that first. Don't just willy-nilly try to guess your shade when there's no reason for you to flap about and buy a foundation off the bat without being very sure that it's going to be the right decent shade for you. Buying backups of makeup products. I mean, what's going to happen if you run out of one day? You don't have a different one that you could just use that day while you wait for yours to arrive. Again, if it's a limited edition product, that doesn't even make sense to me. I've never bought multiples of a product because it's limited edition before, because in my head, I just think makeup just moves forward so quickly all of the time that by the time you've realistically say it's a blush or a highlight or something like that, say you've got through that highlight in 10 years time, there's definitely going to have been one that's come out in that meantime that you prefer. Makeup is just always getting better and closer to perfection. That's the way, you know, I guess technology and the world works. Everything is constantly moving forwards and getting better. And the amount of time it takes us to use up a blush, a highlight, a bronzer, a palette, something like that, even if it's limited edition, why are you buying multiples of that? Who's really going through an entire eyeshadow palette these days? And even if you are, it's going to take you, you know, at least a couple of years to get through powder products, in which case something else will have come out in the meantime that you love just as much. Stop buying backups. It's just, don't do it. It's not worth your money. The next thing we should stop doing is buying products with Klarna or Afterpay or whatever the alternative is where you live. So Klarna, if you're not aware, it's like a buy now, pay later. So you can either pay it off in 30 days time, I believe, or you can split your payments. Don't get into debt for makeup. It is not worth it. And as much as lots of people don't want to hear this and don't like this, Klarna is debt. That's exactly what it is. It's the same as a credit card. And although it's not, you don't pay more, it's still money that you don't know if you're going to be able to pay it in a month's time. If you can't pay it now, what's going to make it easier to pay in 30 days time? I don't understand it. It's just not worth getting into debt for makeup, and Klarna's, Afterpays, all that stuff is debt. Whether or not it's adding interest, it's still debt. Definition of debt from investopedia.com is an amount of money borrowed by one party from another. That's the simplest definition of debt. So Klarna, it's debt. Like it or not, that's what it is. Debt is used by many corporations and individuals as a method of making large purchases that they could not afford under normal circumstances. And my advice, my strongest advice out of this whole video to you is do not get into debt. Not a single pound, not a single penny for makeup. There are so many more important things. If you can't afford that product, don't purchase it. Save for it or buy it next month. Don't keep adding. It's so dangerous. These Klarnas, things like that, it's so dangerous because it just sucks you in and you can get carried away, and then next month you're going to have to pay it all off, and maybe that's going to make it harder, and it's a never-ending circle because then next month you won't be able to buy the new purchases because you've got to pay all your Klarnas off, and so you add more Klarnas on for the month after, and it's just never ending. Do not get into debt for makeup. It's never going to pay you back. The next thing we should stop doing or never doing is paying for next day delivery or faster delivery or international delivery simply in order to have something quicker. This is madness to me. Like, what do you need it 2 days quicker for? Whenever I see something and the options are free delivery, it will take 2 to 3 days, or next day delivery, which is £5.95. And I'm like, what nutters are paying £6 extra to get this 2 or 3 days early? And I understand, again, if you're a blogger, a YouTuber, it's a race. You have to get your review up first or you're nowhere. It's like if you're second, you're last. That's how YouTube works. That's how Instagram works. That's how the beauty community works. Of course, then it's worth your money to pay for next day delivery because you're probably going to make that extra few pounds that you spent on next day delivery back by getting far more views on your video because you got it up earlier. If you're just a regular consumer, why on earth are you paying more to get that product 2 days earlier? Make it make sense. I've also seen people buying products from, say, the brand's website because it was released there earlier than it was on the UK stockist. So, for example, the Natasha Denona Glam palette was released on Natasha Denona's own website before it was on, say, Selfridges, Cult Beauty, etc. And people were actually buying it from Natasha's website, paying delivery fees and paying like import and taxes to get it here, because it released a couple of weeks earlier on Natasha's website than it did on Selfridges, and that must have been like a substantial amount more, especially then when it arrives here. You can get it on Feel Uni, you can get 10% off, and there was lots of offers and sales going around for these products that if you'd waited a month or so, you would have probably saved yourself like a vast amount of money than you did if you bought it from her website and paid all of that extra to get it here. And by the time it probably got here, it probably wasn't even that much quicker. I mean, what are you doing that for? Stop it. Stop doing that. Do not pay for shipping. Most shipping of makeup should be free. Standard delivery these days for most products is free. So please stop paying for it at all if you can. Like, try and find the retailer who is doing free shipping. If you can't, get the standard shipping. And I know it's tempting, especially if there's a little bit of a difference. Say standard shipping is $3.99, next day delivery might be $6.99 or something like that. If you can buy delivery passes, like Selfridges do a delivery pass, I think it's something like $12.99 for a whole year. Over the year, that's a sensible thing. If you're going to make a few purchases, it's going to save you money. But paying to get it here 1 or 2 days earlier, that £3 more a time, or even more a time, it just adds up to being a silly thing to do. Just be slightly patient, please. And the last, but by no means least thing that we should all try our best to stop doing is feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or even worse, pressured to buy new makeup we do not need or even want that much. I hate this. I hate so much that people tell me all the time they feel pressured, or they're so stressed about this release, or they're so stressed about all this new makeup that's coming out. And I think, why is that causing you stress for though? Why does it matter to you how much new makeup is coming out? Why is that affecting you? Because you feel like you have to buy it, because you feel pressured, because you feel this need to keep up with people who, again, the most part are either getting in debt for makeup or they're making a profit from it, which you are not. It breaks my heart, and it's a very hard thing to say. It's a bit like telling someone who's really, really angry to calm down. Definitely doesn't work on me. So I know me telling you to stop being stressed is not going to stop it, but I would really encourage that if you feel really pressured, really stressed about new releases and how much makeup's coming out, and you're one of these people who's trying to keep up with the Joneses or whoever you're trying to keep up with, then to come off social media, stop looking at it if it's causing you financial issues, or it's just causing you a lot of stress and worry and unhappy feelings, which is literally the opposite point of makeup. It's supposed to be good for your soul and fun. Isn't that why we're all here? If it's having the opposite effect on you, take a break. Try and think about what it is that is pushing you and pressuring you and making you feel stressed about just new products that you don't have to buy, that nobody is going to notice if you don't buy them. Try and ask yourself those questions. Why are you getting stressed? Why are you worried about it? You don't need to follow these makeup accounts. You don't need to look at these new releases all the time. And you certainly do not need to buy them if you don't really want them, can't afford them, or don't need them. Please let me know if there are bad habits or things that you think that you need to stop, or we should all stop doing if we are not making a profit from makeup, if we're not professionals, if we are not making money from the purchases that we make. What else do we need to stop doing? I know there'll be things that I've forgotten or I haven't thought about, and we can all learn from in the comment section down below. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.